Hey guys, welcome back to the Dex, where we cover trivia and strategy for a different Pokemon each week. I'm Team Skull admin Alex.
And I'm Pokekels. Hey man, do you ever think about how somewhere in the world there's gotta be like a graveyard where Marowak gets all its bones from?
Hadn't really crossed my mind.
I mean, this is a Pokemon who literally uses the bones of its ancestors as weapons to survive, right?
Right.
And they have to overcome the loss of their mother to evolve, right?
Right.
So how the heck do you hatch a Cubone with the skull already on from a 6IV Ditto in the Pokemon nursery?
What? I don't know. Why would a parent let their kid fly across the ocean on a Charizard? There's just some mysteries we were never meant to solve. You know what I mean?
I guess, but that doesn't mean there's not still tons to say about this week's Pokemon.
You're darn right it doesn't. So let's get cracking. Not that I really have to say it, but it's Marowak.
So paradoxes aside, Marowak is actually a really cool Pokemon. It has a signature item in the Bone Club, which doubles its attack stat, and each one famously wears the skull of its mother to remind it of its hardship that it overcame. And if that's not pretty sick already, what is the actual deal behind those bones, man? As usual, the Pokedex opens all doors, my dude.
The maybe fabled, sometimes factual Marowak graveyard is literally all over Marowak's Pokedex entries in Sun and Moon. Marowak are said to get all their bones there, and the bones also supposedly hold the regrets and wisdom of their ancestors, which guide Marowak through life. Sounds unlikely, but this concept is strikingly familiar to the real-life legend of the elephant graveyard.
You might just know it from The Lion King, but before it was in the movie, it really was an old legend. It said that at a certain age, elephants are instinctively directed toward the mysterious elephant graveyard, and they go there to die with their own kind.
Unfortunately, this idea was probably just popularized by people coming upon old poaching sites and finding groups of elephant remains, or as the result of population crowding when food was scarce. But regardless, the legend sticks around, and elephants are still the key to Marowak's origins. Trust me, I swear.
Yeah, Marowak may not look it, but it shares more than a few similarities with pachyderms. Consider Marowak's natural habitat: canyons, deserts, safari zones. Cubone and Marowak seem to live in the savanna, the natural habitat of the African elephant. That's so basic it could be coincidence, but both Cubone and Marowak also have developed a culture tied to death. And as we weirdly already saw, elephants have too.
See, aside from humans, very few other animals have ever been recorded regularly performing death rituals for others of their species. But elephants are a rare exception. Elephants are unbelievably intelligent animals that actually show great interest and respect for the bones of their own kind.
They have been recorded to examine deceased elephant bones with great care and interest, and even return to piles of bones as if they were grave sites. When an elephant in the herd passes away, the other elephants mourn, gather around, place branches and dust over the body, and literally just stand there for a while in silence. It's an incredibly moving thing to see, and it totally changes the way you think about animals and how much they understand about life and how little we understand about them.
Yo, but before that makes me cry, let's talk about how Marowak and Cubone are absolutely on this level too. Cubone spends years mourning its mother's death and maintains a constant connection with the past through the bones of its family. Oh, and that reminds me, in many traditional African cultures, wearers of ritual masks were said to no longer be the physical human wearing the mask, but rather a temporary transformation into the spirit the mask is supposed to represent.
Whoa, and if that's true for Marowak too, then you can maybe even say that they're all the spirit of the mother: strength, courage, compassion. I'm getting goosebumps, dude.
Okay, calm down, don't get too excited. We still got a bunch of stuff to say about Marowak yet.
Ooh, we do!
Yep, because as you may or may not know, ALOLAN Marowak adds a whole new dimension to its design.
Oh, tight, man. We should have a segment all about ALOLAN forms,
Well,
right?
we do now.
We do now?
Yeah, and get ready to chill, because it's called the ALOLAN Spirit.
Away!
So check this out. In Alola, Cubone are picked on by the numerous grass types and hungry mandibuzz that live in the mountains, and as a result, they formed a deep connection with their families, both that of their species they live with and that of their partner trainers.
Yeah, and when it evolves, it tries to overcome its grass bullies by changing from ground type to fire type and incorporates its spiritual connection to others with its new ghost typing. And actually, its ghost typing is probably pretty interrelated with the fact that the very first encounter with Marowak in the first generation of Pokemon games was the ghost of a deceased Marowak. It was a ghost all along, dogs.
ALOLAN Marowak have also adopted a Polynesian art form called fire dancing, which is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It was developed from the Ailau, a war ritual in Samoa used to psych up warriors. Latuli Olo Misalagi, aka Freddie Latuli, was the first man to add fire to the traditional Samoan Ailau in just 1946.
Hilariously, the only reason that fire dancing even exists is because Freddie was about to perform in a show along with a fire-breathing act and a baton twirling act, and he wanted to stand out. But it was very well received, and Freddie took the dance back home and immediately taught it to the other Samoans.
Since then, it has become a very iconic art form in Hawaii, especially at luau's, and it was adapted to a bunch of other weapons like fire fans, fire whips, and especially fire staffs, which are ALOLAN Marowak's weapon of choice. Seriously, watch a video of someone spinning fire staffs. It's tight. It's just tight.
Ooh, actually, someone out there who knows how to spin fire staffs, please put on a ALOLAN Marowak costume and do it and make millions of dollars off this free viral video idea. You're welcome. So you said that dance was for getting warriors ready to fight, right?
Right.
So don't you think it's time for some battle strategy?
Sure, but first, let's take a pic of our battle pose. Ready? 3, 2, 1, pose! ALOLAN Marowak was actually a pretty big force in early VGC 17, and though its presence has died down a bit of late, it's still a great heavy hitter for any Trick Room team, and it's compounded by its access to the extremely annoying ability Lightning Rod, which basically just shuts down electric types while it's on the field. Start with the Brave One, and EV trained in HP, attack, and special defense.
Any Marowak is not complete without its signature hold item, the Bone Club, which doubles its attack in exchange for an item slot. It's like having an extra ability, but just watch out for knockoff because with that new ghost typing, it'll really smart.
From there, give it its signature move Shadow Bone for Ghost Stab and Flare Blitz for some mad stab fire damage, but just like basically everything with ALOLAN Whack, be mindful because its HP stat isn't super high. Maybe just throw Protect on the set too to be safe. Can't ever really go wrong with it, right?
And finally, fill out that move list with its other signature move, Bone Meringue. It's basically a single target Earthquake, which is awesome, and even though it can miss, it's pretty much worth it for the ability to run over things like Focus Sash, Substitute, and the ever-annoying Mimikyu Disguise, even though Mimikyu is super cute.
And that's it. But that's not the only way to train a Marowak, so as always, here are a few random thoughts.
Toss Earthquake on there instead of Bone Meringue if you want to pair with Oranguru and Instruct. You can potentially get multiple KOs in a single turn twice in a row, and that can really ruin someone's day.
Marowak also has access to Will-O-Wisp, which could also be useful on a Trick Room team, especially late in the game when your opponent has less options. Just burn the last attacker they have left and you basically already won.
And finally, another way you can bum people out late in the game is to switch in and use Perish Song. If you've already knocked out 2 of their Pokemon and you're able to stay alive long enough, this can mean utter heartbreak for your opponent. They're gonna be mourning themselves after you're done with them. It's a bad slogan.
And that's it, Marowak. Raise your trunks if you ever would have thought it was based off a freaking elephant.
Nerd. You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
If you want to discuss theories or share some of your own, let us know what you think in the comments. Or if you'd rather participate in an intelligent and civil discussion, why not hop over to our official Discord server where you can access that through the link in our description below.
Thanks again for watching, and thanks to our Patreon supporters here as well, because without them, I'd probably be an office temp. I'm Team Skull Admin Alex.
And I'm Pokekells. Tune in next week for another warm, fruity episode of
The Dex. Did you just say warm and fruity?